The Uncanny Archives, Volume 14, The Elysium Drift. Intro: The Architecture of Elsewhere. Have you ever been in a mall at 3 a.m.? The music is still playing, but there's no one to hear it. The fountains are bubbling, but no one is throwing coins. The lights are humming, but there are no shadows to chase. We call these liminal spaces, thresholds, transitions. They aren't meant to be lived in. They are meant to be walked through. But what happens when the exit sign lies? What happens when the hallway stretches into forever and the only thing left of the world is the smell of new carpet and old air? This is the log of Leo Vance. Leo was a night watchman at the newly opened Elysium Grand. It was the largest shopping center in the tri-state area, a palace of consumerism. Leo took the job because he liked the quiet. He didn't realize that the quiet at Elysium was hungry. Act 1. The Revisionist Geography. Leo's first shift started at 11 p.m. The manager handed him a heavy ring of keys and a single, handwritten instruction. Do not look at the mannequins in the north wing for more than 5 seconds. They are sensitive to attention. Leo walked the perimeter. The mall was beautiful. Marble floors, glass elevators, palm trees under artificial skylights. But as he reached the food court, he noticed something strange. He'd passed a fountain 3 minutes ago, but now it was on his left. It should have been on his right. He checked his GPS. The signal was flickering. The blue dot showed him standing in the middle of an ocean. He shook his head and kept walking. He passed a Suncoast Video store. He stopped. Suncoast Video? Those went out of business years ago. He looked inside. The store was pristine. VCR tapes of The Lion King and Speed were neatly stacked on the shelves. The lights were that sickly, nostalgic yellow of the mid-90s. He blinked and the store was gone. In its place was an empty Tesla showroom. Act 2. The Plastic Witnesses. Leo's heart began to race. He turned toward the north wing. There they were, the mannequins, dozens of them standing in the windows of high-end boutiques. They were faceless, smooth white plastic, no eyes, no mouths. He remembered the manager's warning. He looked at his feet. 1, 2, 3, 4. He looked away. When he looked back, one of the mannequins, a female form in a red dress, was no longer in the window. It was standing in the middle of the hallway, 5 feet closer to him. "It's a prank," he whispered. "The other guards are messing with me." He turned his flashlight toward the security office. He walked 10 steps. Then he stopped. Standing directly in front of him was another mannequin. It was wearing a security uniform. It was wearing his uniform. He shone the light on its chest. The gold name tag read, Leo. Act 3. The Consumption of Reality. Leo ran. He didn't care about the keys or the job. He headed for the main exit, the giant glass doors that led to the parking lot. He could see his car through the glass. He could see the streetlights. He slammed his shoulder against the door. It didn't open. It didn't even vibrate. He looked at the glass. It wasn't glass. It was a high-resolution screen playing a loop of the parking lot. He touched it, and his finger left a digital ripple in the image. The mall started to change. The ceiling lights began to descend, lowering until the ceiling was only 6 feet high. The hallways began to narrow. The marble floors turned into a damp, beige carpet that squelched under his boots. The smell of mall was replaced by the smell of stagnant water and ozone. He was in the backrooms. The Elysium had collapsed into its true form. From the shadows of an empty gap, he heard a sound. Not a voice, a wet, mechanical scraping. Act 4. The Shoppers. He rounded a corner and found himself in a massive atrium. The skylight above was gone. It was just a black, infinite void. And the atrium was full. There were hundreds of them. The shoppers. They looked like people from a distance, but as Leo got closer, he saw the horror. Their limbs were too long, their joints bending in ways that humans couldn't. They were faceless, like the mannequins, but their skin was made of a grey, leathery substance. They weren't moving. They were standing in front of empty shelves, their hands reaching out to grab things that weren't there. One of them turned its head. It didn't have a face, but it made a sound. The sound of a cash register opening. Ka-ching! "Help me," Leo whispered. All the shoppers turned at once. A chorus of cash registers filled the air. Ka-ching! 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 They began to glide toward him, their feet never touching the ground. Act 5. The Final Transaction. Leo found a door labeled Exit. He burst through it, stumbling into the sunlight. He fell to the pavement, gasping for air. He was outside. He saw the city skyline. He saw people walking their dogs. He saw a car driving by. "I made it," he sobbed. "I'm out." He walked toward a woman on the sidewalk. "Please," he said, "call the police. Something is wrong with the mall." The woman stopped. She turned to face him. She didn't have a face. She was a smooth, white, plastic mannequin. She was holding a shopping bag from Elysium. Leo looked at the city skyline. He saw a giant, neon sign blinking above the tallest building. It didn't say the name of a bank. It said, Level 2, Department Store. He looked down at his own hands. They were becoming smooth, white, plastic. He tried to scream, but his mouth had already been erased. The mall didn't just trap you. It replaced the world. And now, everyone was a shopper. And everything was for sale.